Hi Stampers, I'm Meg from Loven Stamps, and I have some projects to share with you that use the Varied Vases stamp set. So one of the new sets from the new catalog. Pepper is really excited about it too, our dog. But the stamp set is got a lot of cool flexibility to it. And so the card I'm going to show you is this one here. It uses the layering circles dies to make the background shapes. And then I'm going to teach you a little bit about layering the flowers and the vases to get the best effect with this. But really cool color set for these. It includes Blueberry Bushel, which is one of the new in colors, and some, like I said, some great tips on your stamping. So grab your Stamps the Mail Club kit and let's get stamping.
We set these aside and pull out our projects. We have a piece of Designer Series paper that I love from the Garden Impressions Designer Series paper pack, and that is one of the new paper packs and features a lot of the new colors, which I love. And I am getting ahead of myself. I want to add it to my card here, but I can't yet, because before we do anything layering wise here, we're going to add some background. And I have my Blueberry Bushel ink pad here. You get Stampin' Spots with Stamps the Mail Club unless you upgrade and want the full-size ink pads. You can do that at a discount actually, which is kind of a nice way to get those new in colors. So I'm going to take this flower stamp here. It's actually meant to be the inside of this spray of florals here. It's kind of baby breath-y, but I am going to use it just as a background image. And I just wanted to show you, if you haven't seen the new squeegee, the new chamois, sorry, it is like an ink magnet. And so my stamp is still, it was stained from some other stamping that I did before. So, but you can see that the blueberry is all gone. It just like sucks the ink right off there.
Right.
So then the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and layer that paper, the Garden Impressions paper that I already added adhesive to. Okay. And then we have our paper here and our strips. So for the strip, I want to show you a trick about mounting your stamps. So I'm going to use this long stamp here, which is a little bit on the floppy side since it's photopolymer and it's not got a lot of support, but I want it to be straight on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up here on my grid paper and make sure that the stamp is straight, which it is, so it's kind of in its own sort of native conformation. And then instead of like picking it up and putting it on, I'm just going to apply my black right to it. So now I know that it's set straight the way I want it and should be easy to use. So I'm going to grab some lovely lipstick here and go ahead and stamp greeting down here, stamp at the bottom of our paper, and add the greeting here in Blueberry Bushel, which says, "You are simply the best." Okay. And then this is just a teeny bit thicker than I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and trim about a 1/4 inch off the top, I think, just to get it exactly where I want. Okay, so now you're simply the best. We'll bring our card back in here. And I have two circles from the Layering Circles Thinlits dies, which one scalloped and one not scalloped. And so for this, I'm going to do the vases from Varied Vases, but I'm going to add the flowers directly on my paper. So before I do the stamping the flowers, I'm going to go ahead and get my vases. So I'm going to think a little bit about where this is going to punch. So I'm going to take my sort of roundy vase here, and I'm going to stamp off on my scratch paper and then on my project paper so that I get a really nice light color of Blueberry Bushel. Then I'm going to take my outline stamp and stamp around that just full strength. Okay, so you can see you kind of get Blueberry Bushel but 2 colors of it, which is a really nice perk. So I'm going to go ahead and punch that out with my punch. I love this vase punch. And then the second vase that I need is the outline one, or the detailed one. So there are 3 sets of vases for each of the punch shapes. So there's one that's filled in, there's one that is the outline, and there's one that's kind of a fancy deal. So I'm going to take my fancy deal one here, and this one I'm going to go ahead and stamp full strength. So we get a nice bright image there. And then I'm going to slide this on and go ahead and punch my vase there. Alright, so now I have my 2 vases and my circle with the way it's going to sit on here and my greeting. And what I want to do is I want to use these vases kind of as placement tools. So I have an idea of where my flowers should go. And so this flower that's going to sit right here is this outline right here. I'm actually just going to ink the top portion of my stamp and go ahead and bring my vase back in here and use that as a positioning kind of tool, and then I'm going to take that away and stamp. Okay, so we have our first flower on there. That of course needs some inside, so I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, but I'm of course going to ink just the top 3 and then stamp those off before I add them to my flower. And then kind of sticking everything back together again. That gives me a placement there for that. Then I am going to get my pieces back in line here to add my other flower, and my other flower is going to be this one here. So I'm going to use this, and again, I'm not going to ink the whole thing because I really only need the top part of it. I'm going to ink there and go ahead and stamp my flowers. Oh, way to go, Meg. Let's see if I can put those on again. There we go. No problem. And then to do the inside, stamp off, and then go back and fill in. And you can see, like, I didn't like line it up perfectly. That's perfectly okay. You don't have to have your two-step stamping like a computer printed it out. It's handmade, so that's sort of a fun way to just make it look a little bit unique. All right, so I'm going to take this now with my Stampin' Dimensionals on the back and go ahead and layer this here on my card front. I'm going to leave some space over here, and then I'm going to add a couple dimensionals here under my greeting, and then add this strip here at the bottom. And I might bring my vases back in just to make sure I'm kind of getting this where I want it to go. I think we're good there. And then another dimensional here on the back of my first vase, and pop that there at the end of the stem, so it looks like the vases are kind of popped up and the flowers are coming out of them. And then my second vase right underneath here. Okay, and there we have our finished card. So really simple. You are simply the best. You could obviously put whatever greeting you want on this baby, but it's a neat way to use the punch, the Vases Builder Punch and the new Very Vases stamp set, and a great feature of those new in colors, Luscious Lipstick, Blueberry Bushel, and then Call Me Clover, and actually Spruce is in that background, shaded spruce. Not in color, but definitely one of the cool new colors. So if you'd like to request a Stamps and Mail Club kit, make sure you check my website for details, and I would be happy to get one out to you. So thanks for watching, and happy stamping.